Your hands will receive a huge amount of money on August 1922, 2025. You are about to get. On the surface, it may look like another ordinary day, but I tell you this, nothing is ordinary when the unseen hand of God is moving on your behalf. You have been walking through seasons of lack, of waiting, of silent prayers whispered in the night, but now the tide has shifted. A door is opening that no man can shut, and your hands are about to receive what your heart has long held in faith. The date is not by chance. When the calendar turns to the 19th and 20th of 2025, destiny will place in your hands a huge amount of money, a blessing so undeniable that you will know it is the fulfillment of what you believed when no one else did. This is not about chance, nor luck, nor random fortune. This is alignment. This is the manifestation of your inner certainty meeting the outer world. Get ready, for your hands shall touch what your spirit already holds, and nothing can stop the flow of abundance that is rushing toward you. 1922-1025, you are about to get. Imagination is the seed of wealth. Everything that will ever come into your life begins first as an image within your imagination, for imagination is the womb where reality is conceived. Money, success, opportunities, and even the specific dates marked upon your calendar are not external accidents, but inner creations brought to birth through belief. When you hear the words, your hands will receive a huge amount of money on 19 and 2025, you may look outward and wonder how such a thing could happen, but the truth is that it is already happening within you. The unseen realm precedes the seen, and the visible world bends to the power of the invisible assumption. If you can dare to see yourself with wealth, dare to touch it in thought before it touches you in fact, then you have already set in motion the law by which all things manifest. You see, most people wait for the external proof before they allow themselves to feel the reality of abundance. But the one who truly understands the mystery of life knows that feeling is the cause and fact is the effect. To imagine is to plant a seed, and seeds once planted must produce after their kind. If you plant the seed of wealth in your imagination, watered with persistence and nurtured with faith, it is impossible that it will not sprout and bear fruit in your physical world. Many live as slaves to appearances, but appearances are shadows of belief, reflections of past assumptions, and they change when the root assumption changes. If you have been seeing lack, it is because you unknowingly gave birth to lack in the soil of your mind. If you wish to see wealth, you must now give birth to wealth within yourself. The process is simple yet profound. Close your eyes and see yourself already receiving money. Feel the weight of it in your hands. Sense the gratitude swelling in your heart, and live as though it has already happened. Do not wait until the 19th or 20th to prepare your heart. Begin now, for the inner preparation is the true doorway to the outer gift. When you hold wealth in imagination, life has no choice but to arrange the outer scene to match your inner conviction. People will appear, opportunities will unfold, unexpected channels will open, and money will come into your possession in ways you could never have logically predicted. Do not trouble yourself with the how, for the how belongs to the wisdom of life. Your only responsibility is to hold the vision, to nurture the feeling, to walk as though it were already yours. Consider how everything you now own, every garment, every possession, every home, every object, once existed first in imagination, whether yours or another's. Someone imagined the clothes you wear before they were sewn. Someone envisioned the phone you use before it was manufactured. Every invention, every creation, every form of wealth was first an idea, invisible and intangible, until it was impressed upon the world of matter. So it is with the money that is promised to flow into your hands. It is now an invisible reality, waiting for you to embrace it as present within, so it may take shape without. Wealth is not an accident. It is an agreement between the mind that dares to believe and the world that must obey. If you shift your inner world today, your outer world cannot resist but change tomorrow. You must rise beyond doubt, beyond hesitation, beyond the habits of poverty that whisper it is not possible, and instead claim boldly, it is mine now. If you can accept this truth, that imagination is the only creative force, then you will never again live in fear of lack, for you will know that your fortune lies not in banks or employers or economies, but in the unshakable treasury of your inner vision. The date, the 19th and 20th of 2025, is a signpost, a marker of divine timing, but the reality is already finished within you. By the time those days arrive, your heart will know it, your hands will feel it, and your world will confirm it. Therefore, walk each day from this moment onward as though you already hold that wealth. Speak as though it is present. Think from the state of possession, and give thanks before you see it, for gratitude is the proof of faith. In imagination, let yourself already count the money. Let yourself already pay the debts. Let yourself already bless others with your abundance, and the outer world will conform to these inner scenes. There is no force that can resist imagination, for it is the power of God within you, the creative authority that shapes destiny. If you remain loyal to the vision, money will not just come once, it will continue to flow, for you will have tapped into the fountain of creation itself. So hear this, your hands will receive, but first your mind must believe. Your outer world will deliver, but first your inner world must accept. On the 19th and 20th, what you have dared to imagine will not remain imagination. It will crystallize into tangible, undeniable wealth. Let this knowledge free you, empower you, and lift you above the shadows of fear. Stand tall in the truth that your imagination is the seed of wealth, and watch as the harvest of abundance places itself directly into your waiting hands. The date is not random, it's a divine appointment. There are no accidents in the unfolding of your destiny, no coincidences that slip past the hand of God, and no random events that determine your future. The date set before you, 19 and 20, 2025, is not a casual point on the calendar, but a divine appointment already written into the script of your life. Most people drift through days as though they were empty pages, unaware that time itself bends to serve the one who believes. When you are told that your hands will receive a huge amount of money on these days, you must not treat it as chance, for chance is the word used by those who do not yet see the hidden order guiding every detail of existence. Behind the appearance of time ticking away, there is an invisible alignment of events, people, and circumstances, all being orchestrated to converge at a single moment, a precise opening in the stream of time where the unseen breaks forth into the seen. That is what makes a date holy, not because it carries power on its own, but because it has been appointed as the meeting place between your inner faith and your outer reality. The 19th and 20th of 2025 are not coming to you. They are already waiting, already prepared, already holding the shape of your blessing. You are walking toward a moment that has been designed as the stage where the promise of wealth takes its form. Think of how the universe moves. The planets align, the tides respond to the pull of the moon, the seasons unfold in divine order, the sun rises and sets without fail, and nothing in this vast cosmos is left to chaos. If creation itself flows with perfect rhythm, how could your life, which is part of that same creation, be left to randomness? Just as nature has appointed times, seed time and harvest, winter and summer, night and day, so too does your journey have appointed times when promises manifest, when desires crystallize, when prayers are answered. The 19th and 20th are such times for you. They are your harvest days, the ripening of the seed you planted long ago in imagination. You may have forgotten the exact moment when you first wished for wealth, when you first prayed for relief, when you first envisioned money flowing into your life, but heaven did not forget. The unseen has been at work from the instant you conceived the thought, moving through invisible channels, rearranging circumstances, preparing the stage for manifestation. By the time you reach those days, everything will be in place. People will unknowingly play their roles, doors will open, opportunities will align, and you will find that what seemed impossible before now appears inevitable. That is the power of divine timing. It makes the miraculous feel natural. It makes the extraordinary unfold as though it were always meant to be. Do not doubt the date. Do not dismiss it as superstition or wishful thinking, for what has been appointed cannot be cancelled. The only thing required of you is readiness, for timing is nothing if the heart is unprepared. When you live in expectancy, you magnetize the date, you give it weight, you draw it toward you with irresistible force. The 19th and 20th are not waiting for you to beg, but for you to align. Think of them as a meeting you already scheduled with destiny, a sacred appointment where wealth and you are meant to meet face to face. Until then, walk with certainty. Each sunrise brings you closer to it. Each step draws you nearer. Each breath is part of the unfolding journey. Do not despise the days leading up to it, for they are the preparation ground. Just as a woman carries life in her womb for months before the day of birth, so too have you carried this promise within you, and now the due date has been announced. Would a woman doubt her child will be born when the appointed time draws near? No, she knows the signs, she feels the movement, and she prepares the room for the arrival. So must you prepare, not in fear but in joy, for the date of delivery has already been set. The universe does not miss appointments. It does not fail to deliver what it has promised. If you try to measure it by logic, you may stumble, for the human mind cannot trace all the hidden threads being woven together. But when you surrender to faith, you realize that the alignment is already perfect. Money is not far from you. It is already in your field of possession, waiting to touch your hands. On those days it will not arrive late, nor will it arrive early, but exactly at the appointed time. This is the mystery of faith. It teaches you that waiting is not delay but preparation, that dates are not empty numbers but milestones of manifestation. So stand firm in the knowledge that the 19th and 20th of 2025 have already been stamped with your blessing. Each time you see those numbers, let your heart leap, let your spirit rejoice, for you are not moving toward uncertainty but toward fulfillment. Do not be anxious about the how, for the how belongs to God. Your role is to believe in the certainty of the when, and that when has been revealed to you, so you may anchor your faith, so you may look forward with unwavering expectation, so you may prepare your hands to receive. Nothing can stand against divine appointment. No obstacle, no delay, no opposition can override what has already been sealed. On those dates, wealth will find you, because wealth has already been instructed to come. You need only be awake enough to recognize it, humble enough to receive it, and bold enough to claim it as yours. The date is not random, it is destiny made visible. It is heaven's whisper turned into earth's proclamation. It is the bridge where imagination crosses into reality. Walk toward it without fear, without doubt, without hesitation, and when you arrive, you will know that time itself was conspiring with you all along, guiding you to the exact moment your hands would overflow with money. Receiving is a state of consciousness. To receive is not merely to stretch out your hands and collect what is given. It is to enter into a state of consciousness where the thing desired is already yours, where lack no longer exists, and where the joy of possession floods your being before the physical manifestation arrives. Money, wealth, abundance, or any blessing of life cannot reach you if your inner state rejects it, for every outer experience is but a reflection of your inner acceptance. You may be promised that your hands will hold a huge amount of money on the 19th and 20th of 2025. Yet if within yourself you remain unworthy, fearful, doubtful, or resistant, you will stand in the way of your own blessing. Receiving is not about the outer act. It is about the inner atmosphere you cultivate. Think of it this way: when a radio is tuned to the right frequency, the signal is clear and the music flows effortlessly, but when it is out of tune, all you hear is static. The money, the opportunity, the blessing is already in the atmosphere of life, vibrating at a certain frequency, but until you tune your inner state to that frequency, you cannot catch it. Receiving is tuning your consciousness to the vibration of wealth, aligning yourself with abundance, and walking as though you already have what you seek. That is why gratitude before the fact is so powerful, for gratitude is the inner proof that you have accepted possession even before the delivery. To thank before receiving is to declare, "I have already received," and life cannot resist but echo back the truth of that declaration. If you live in constant worry, saying, "What if it doesn't come? What if it fails? What if nothing changes?" then you are tuning yourself to lack, and lack will mirror itself back to you. But if you live in inner certainty, saying, "It is mine now, my hands are already full, the blessing is already here," then you are dwelling in the state of receiving, and the world must echo your inner stance. Receiving is a shift of identity. You do not beg for wealth, you become wealth. You do not chase after abundance, you embody abundance. You do not wait for money to prove itself, you live as one who has already been supplied. This is why some can hold money in their hands and lose it, while others can attract it without effort. For the difference is not in the money itself, but in the state of the receiver. One whose consciousness is still poor will sabotage abundance, but one whose consciousness is rich will multiply it. To prepare your hands to receive a huge amount of money on the 19th and 20th of 2025 is not to worry about bank accounts, paperwork, or channels. It is to cultivate within you the unshakable knowing that you are already wealthy, that you are worthy of increase, that money flows naturally to you as rivers flow to the sea. Feel the weight of the money in your hands in imagination. See yourself counting it, spending it, blessing others with it. Allow the emotion of relief, joy, and gratitude to flood you as though it were already accomplished. Do this not once, but repeatedly, until the feeling becomes natural, until your mind no longer questions it, until your heart is at rest in possession. That is when you have entered the state of receiving. When you are in that state, the outer world must bend to accommodate it, for the world cannot deny the conviction of a mind that has already accepted its blessing. People will appear as messengers of your supply. Doors will open that were previously shut. Circumstances will shift, and opportunities will unfold in ways that appear miraculous, but are in truth the natural outflow of your consciousness. Receiving is not passive, it is active faith, the living conviction that transforms waiting into fulfillment. On the 19th and 20th, when your hands take hold of what you have long envisioned, you will realize that the money was already yours the moment you accepted it within. The date is only the outer evidence of an inner acceptance that had already taken place. Do not wait until those days to begin receiving. Begin now. Live each moment from the position of possession. Walk through your home as though wealth already fills it. Speak words of abundance, not lack. Imagine your hands heavy with blessing and your heart light with gratitude. The more natural this state becomes, the quicker the outer reflection arrives, for life is a mirror, and mirrors do not argue. They simply reflect what stands before them. If you stand in the state of wealth, life will reflect wealth. If you stand in the state of lack, life will reflect lack. Choose therefore to receive inwardly, and the outer world will rush to agree. Many think they must work harder, struggle longer, or chase faster to receive. But true receiving is effortless because it comes not from striving but from being. You do not force the apple tree to produce fruit. You simply allow it to express what it already contains. Likewise, you cannot force wealth into your life. You can only allow it by becoming the state of one who already has. When the 19th and 20th arrive, your hands will hold the money not because life suddenly decided to bless you, but because you decided long before to live in the state of blessing. The outer is simply catching up to the inner, so let go of worry, release resistance, and anchor yourself now in the joy of possession. Say to yourself daily, I am already supplied, I am already abundant, my hands are already full. Do not wait for evidence, be the evidence. For receiving is not an event in time. It is a state of consciousness, and once you dwell in it, nothing can stop the outer world from bowing to it. And so it shall be that when the promised days arrive, your heart will not be surprised, for you will know you had already received long before your hands touched the wealth. Circumstances will reshape themselves when you set your heart upon a vision and hold steadfastly to it. The whole fabric of your world begins to bend and reshape itself to bring that vision to pass. What you once thought immovable begins to shift, what seemed closed begins to open, and what looked impossible begins to arrange itself into possibility. Life is not fixed. It is fluid, malleable, and ever responsive to the direction of your inner state. This is why when you are told that on the 19th and 20th of 2025 your hands will receive a huge amount of money, you must not concern yourself with how it will happen, for the how is the business of life itself. Your only task is to remain loyal to the conviction that it is already yours. Once that conviction is secured, circumstances must rearrange themselves to deliver the promise. Think of the world as clay in the hands of the potter, soft, pliable, and obedient to every pressure applied. Your inner belief is the potter's hand, and reality is the clay. If within yourself you accept wealth, if you see yourself already living in abundance, then the external clay of life has no choice but to mold itself into the form of that acceptance. People will enter your life as though by accident, yet they are drawn by the unseen magnet of your conviction. Opportunities will appear in unexpected ways, yet they are simply the reflections of the state you are dwelling in. Even obstacles that once stood like towering walls will begin to crumble, for nothing can resist the inner command of faith. Life is constantly in motion, and that motion is directed by the assumptions you carry within. Many believe they are victims of circumstance, but in truth, circumstance is the servant of belief. Change the inner pattern, and the outer world must follow. Consider a river. If you place a rock in its path, the water does not stop flowing. It bends around the obstacle, carving a new path until it continues onward to its destination. So it is with your blessing. No obstacle can prevent it from reaching you. If one channel closes, another will open. If one person refuses, another will step forward. If one door shuts, a better door will swing wide. The money promised to your hands on those appointed days is not dependent on the cooperation of one source. It is the inevitable result of the universe reshaping itself to deliver what you have inwardly claimed. Do not, therefore, be anxious when you look around and see no evidence of change. What appears still on the surface is already in motion beneath. Like tectonic plates shifting silently under the earth, preparing for the emergence of new landscapes, so too are the circumstances of your life silently shifting to reveal a new reality. At times, the reshaping may even look like chaos. Old structures may fall apart, relationships may change, jobs may dissolve, and routines may break, but do not fear. This is not destruction but construction, the breaking down of what no longer serves you so that what you desire can find its place. The blessing of money cannot enter a life cluttered with old limitations, so life clears the ground to make room for the new. Trust this process. What feels like loss is often the clearing that makes way for gain. What feels like delay is often the rearranging of pieces into perfect alignment. Just as a chess master moves pieces across the board, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, always with a greater strategy in mind, so too does life move the pieces of circumstance with divine intelligence to guarantee your victory. If you could see behind the veil, you would know that nothing is random, nothing wasted, nothing lost. Every shift is working together to create the exact moment when your hands will be filled. The 19th and 20th are not random numbers on a calendar. They are the dates when all the reshaped circumstances converge into one undeniable manifestation. On those days, you will look back and realize why things unfolded the way they did, why certain doors had to close, why certain people had to exit, why certain delays occurred, and you will see that it all formed a perfect pattern. Until then, walk in trust. Do not resist the reshaping, flow with it. Just as a seed must crack open to release the plant within, so too must the structures of your old life break to release the wealth waiting for you. It may feel uncomfortable, even painful at times, but the breaking is not the end, it is the beginning. Money is not coming to you because you struggle harder. It is coming because life itself is bending, rearranging, and restructuring to honor the seed you planted in imagination. Circumstances are not your enemy. They are your servants, shaping themselves in obedience to your belief. If you remain steadfast, not shaken by appearances, not discouraged by delays, then you will witness the miracle of life bowing to your conviction. People who once ignored you will suddenly offer you opportunities. Ideas you once overlooked will shine with potential. Situations that seemed closed will crack open with possibility. The reshaping is inevitable, for nothing can resist a mind that has claimed its blessing. This is why it is said that mountains move and seas part for the one who believes, for the external world is compelled to yield to the inner vision. Do not underestimate this truth. Even now, as you read these words, circumstances are moving in your favor. Someone is thinking of you without knowing why. A conversation is being held in a room you have never entered, and your name is being spoken. A decision is being made that will soon benefit you. Invisible forces are aligning, connections are forming, doors are being unlocked, and all of it is leading to the fulfillment of the promise. You may not see it yet, but you will hold it soon. And when you do, you will know that every twist and turn of your journey was necessary to shape the path. On the 19th and 20th of 2025, when your hands receive the money, you will look at your life and recognize the hand of divine orchestration in every detail. You will know that circumstances are not masters but servants, reshaping themselves to deliver exactly what you dared to believe. So release the burden of worry, let go of the obsession with how it will come. Stand firm in your conviction and let life do the work it knows how to do. Circumstances are already shifting, already rearranging, already moving toward you. Soon, the unseen will become seen, the invisible will become visible, and your hands will overflow with abundance. This is the law, unbreakable and eternal. When you believe, circumstances must reshape themselves to agree with your faith. Faith transforms waiting into having faith, is the invisible bridge that carries you from the realm of desire into the realm of possession, from longing into fulfillment, from waiting into having. Without faith, time feels like delay, like endless waiting with no end in sight. But with faith, time becomes nothing more than a stage upon which the already accomplished promise is revealed. When you are told that your hands will receive a huge amount of money on the 19th and 20th of 2025, the natural mind asks, but how can I wait that long? What if it doesn't happen? What if the promise fails? Yet faith answers with certainty, it is already mine, and I am simply walking toward the moment of its unveiling. Faith transforms those days of waiting into days of joyful expectation. For the one who lives by faith does not wait in despair, but waits in assurance, already tasting the victory before it arrives. Faith is not passive patience, it is active possession in the unseen. It is the conviction that what you desire has already been given, that the money is already yours, that your hands already hold it, even if the outer senses cannot yet confirm it. To the eye of flesh, waiting looks like emptiness, but to the eye of faith, waiting is fullness in disguise. You must understand, faith does not make things true, it acknowledges them as already true. The blessing of wealth is not something that might come on those dates. It is something that already exists in the invisible realm, and faith is the act of stepping into that invisible reality before it appears. Waiting without faith is torment, but waiting with faith is joy, because the end is already guaranteed. Think of a pregnant mother. She carries life within her long before it is visible to others. She does not question whether the child will be born. She knows the day of delivery is certain. She prepares clothes. She prepares a room. She speaks as though the child is already here, and in truth the child is already here, just hidden until the appointed time. In the same way, you are pregnant with the promise of wealth. Faith allows you to live in the reality of possession before the outer world reveals it. Each day you walk toward the 19th and 20th of 2025, you are not waiting for something uncertain, you are drawing nearer to something inevitable. Faith turns waiting into a countdown to fulfillment. The days are not empty, they are rich with movement, preparation, and alignment, even if unseen by your eyes. Faith is the anchor that holds you steady when appearances contradict your promise. When lack stares at you, when bills press upon you, when nothing seems to change, faith whispers, "This is only the shadow of the old state. The new is already here, unfolding as scheduled." Without faith, you crumble under appearances, but with faith, you see beyond appearances into the unseen reality that governs all things. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the tangible inner possession of what the world calls not yet. To live by faith is to refuse to be swayed by the lie of delay. You may say, but I see nothing yet, I feel nothing yet, I have nothing yet. Yet faith says, I already have it, for the unseen is more real than the seen. On the 19th and 20th, when money fills your hands, you will not be surprised. You will only rejoice, because faith had already made you its owner long before. That is the mystery of faith. It takes the waiting out of waiting, for it lives in the end even before the beginning. Faith is imagination clothed with conviction, and imagination is the womb of creation. To dwell in faith is to dwell in the finished picture, not in the half-drawn sketch. When you rise each morning, do not say, one day it will happen. Say instead, it has already happened, and I am simply walking toward the hour of its unveiling. This mindset transforms every waiting day into a celebration, for you no longer wait as one who lacks, but as one who has. Faith also transforms your emotions. You no longer live in anxiety or fear, but in gratitude and peace, because you know that the outcome is sealed. Fear is the child of doubt, but joy is the child of faith. Which child will you nurture in the days leading up to the appointed time? If you choose faith, you will find that even before your hands physically touch the money, your spirit has already entered into possession, and that possession is the true wealth. When you reach the 19th and 20th of 2025, the outer money will only be a reflection of what you already owned inwardly by faith. Do you see now why faith transforms waiting into having? Because to the one who believes, there is no gap between promise and possession. The gap exists only to the senses, but to faith the gap is an illusion. Faith collapses time, living in the future as though it were now, claiming the blessing as though it were already in hand, and in doing so, it draws the future into the present. That is why miracles happen suddenly, because faith has been holding them all along, and the outer world eventually surrenders to the inner conviction. Your task now is not to anxiously count the days, but to rest in the assurance that the days are already counted. Each sunrise moves you closer, not because you are waiting in hope, but because faith has already shifted you into possession. Walk as though the money is already in your pocket. Smile as though the debt is already cleared. Rejoice as though your hands are already overflowing. When you do this, you are no longer waiting. You are having. Faith makes you the owner now, not later. And when the appointed date arrives, the world will only echo back what you had already embraced in spirit. Faith is the greatest gift you can cultivate, for it makes you master of time, ruler of circumstances, and possessor of every blessing. With faith, the 19th and 20th of 2025 are not days of uncertainty, but days of fulfillment. With faith, you no longer tremble at the question of if, you rejoice in the certainty of when, and even that when is already swallowed up in the now. Live, therefore, not as one who waits, but as one who has. Hold your head high, let gratitude flow from your lips, and see yourself already supplied. Faith has already transformed your waiting into having, and soon your outer world will reveal what your inner world has long held.